What's up, Raider Nation? I am the Commish, coming to you live, as always, from Hardcore Challenge Live Studios. Deep behind the enemy line, this is Raider Reaction, Throwback Thursday. It ain't Black Friday. We ain't showing you no whole classic game. We're finding special little silver and black nuggets that you haven't seen for a long time. Like old specials that were just for that season, old year-in reviews, old special episodes, and specials about specific Raider players. And I found something really, really cool for tonight's episode, and I think you guys are going to enjoy it. It features several old Raiders, several old Raider players. Actually, on one side of the ball, you've got several old players on the blue team, and then on the red team, you got a Raider legend. So I think you're going to enjoy it. It's a straight blast from the past on Throwback Thursday, and I hope you'll tune in every Throwback Thursday through the rest of the off season, and we're going to give you some silver and black nuggets. So let's get this thing kicked off.
It's the AFC versus the NFC. 10 of the greatest stars of the AFC clash in a battle off the gridiron with the heroes of the NFC in a test of their athletic prowess. In the war canoe, the tandem bike relay, the swim relay, volleyball, the running relay, the obstacle course, and the grueling tug-of-war. These super athletes meet today in a show of strength, speed, and agility. It's Super Teams on NBC Sports World. And the Pro Bowl, the NFC hopes to complete the trifecta in yet another matchup with the American Conference. At the Turtle Bay Hilton Country Club, standout players from both conferences will meet in the Dodge Super Teams. It's a 7-event competition along the north shore of Oahu, Hawaii. Let's meet the players from the NFC and the AFC. The NFC team is led by running back Roger Craig of the San Francisco 49ers. In '85, Roger became the first player in NFL history to rush for over 1,000 yards and gain over 1,000 yards in pass reception. Joining Craig will be All-Pro center Jay Hilgenberg of the Super Bowl champion Chicago Bears. And the NFC team features James Lofton of the Green Bay Packers. A former track All-American at Stanford, Lofton has been a Pro Bowl player for the Packers for 6 straight seasons. Ron Brown of the Los Angeles Rams is renowned as the fastest man in pro football. He led the NFL in kickoff returns. 3 kickoffs he ran back for touchdowns, including this one against the Green Bay Packers. Joining Brown will be Everson Walls of the Dallas Cowboys, the NFL's leader in 1985 with 9 interceptions. Also in action for the NFC, safety Carlton Williamson of the 49ers. Then there's Randy White of the Dallas Cowboys, called the Manster, half man, half monster. He's been a Pro Bowler 9 straight seasons. From the Super Bowl champion Chicago Bears, safety Dave Duerson is here. Also from the Bears will be defensive tackle Dan Hampton, a 3-time Pro Bowl honoree. He made a shambles of the Patriots backfield in Super Bowl 20. And Pro Bowl linebacker Otis Wilson of the Bears completes the NFC team. Now for the AFC, wide receiver Mark Clayton of the Miami Dolphins brings speed to the American Conference team. He holds the NFL record for most touchdown receptions in a season with 18. Another wide receiver, Steve Largent of Seattle, led the NFL in '85 with almost 1,300 yards in pass receptions and ranks in the top 10 in all-time pass receiving. From the New England Patriots All-Pro guard John Hanna and his teammate tackle Brian Holloway. Kick return specialist Irving Fry of the Patriots brings great speed to the American Conference team. He led the NFL in punt returns last season. This one against the Colts went the distance for a touchdown. Completing the Patriot contingent, free safety Fred Marion. 12-year NFL veteran linebacker Steve Nelson, and perhaps the key to the Patriot defense, linebacker Andre Tippett, the man who was voted AFC Defensive Player of the Year, a consensus All-Pro. From the Kansas City Chiefs, safety Deron Cherry. The AFC team is completed with perennial All-Pro Lester Hayes of the Los Angeles Raiders, who once intercepted 13 passes in a single season. And now the super teams are ready to meet. The North Shore of Oahu is known for surfing on Sunset Beach. But the magnificent beauty of Hawaii contrasts sharply with the fiery competition that's now ahead. Hello, everyone, from the famed North Shore of Oahu. I'm Don Crickey. Today on NBC Sports World, you'll see 20 of the finest athletes in the National Football League match their skills in the Super Teams competition. 10 top NFC players are here, including 4 Pro Bowlers from the world champion Chicago Bears. And there are 10 outstanding athletes to represent the AFC also. This is a 7-event competition, and for more on that, here is former Olympic champion Bruce Jenner. Bruce, it's not football, but teamwork's just as important.
Oh, it certainly is. And what I'm amazed is really the quality of athlete that we have here. Now, on the NFC side, we have guys like Ron Brown, wide receiver for Los Angeles. James Lofton, who was a former track man, moved into the Green Bay Packer lineup very quickly. A great athlete. One of the big guys on the NFC side who moves very well is Otis Wilson, the linebacker from the Chicago Bears. Now, on the AFC side, you have Mark Clayton, wide receiver for Miami, a great athlete, along with Irving Fryer. We've seen him so many times this year run the ball so well back on punts, and now we get a chance to see him do it on the track. And also a big guy, another linebacker who's really tough, is Andre Tippett of New England. So I think overall it's going to be a very close competition.
Also with us is Ahmad Rashad, and he's at the site of our first 2 events. Ahmad?
All right, Don, thanks. Now, the first 2 events you'll see here at Waialua High School track will be the cycling relay and the running relay. Now, in the cycling relay, this is a team competition, so teamwork is stressed. The cyclists will have to ride a tandem bicycle, and they'll have to have some kind of teamwork in order to negotiate around this track. But the highlight is going to be the running relay, because one team has the Olympic gold medal sprinter, Ron Brown. The same Ron Brown that when you watch him run, all you can say is, woo, that man is fast. Now, nobody on the other team wants to run against this guy, but somebody will have to, and I think that's going to be one of the highlights of today's competition.
The 7 events in the competition are the running relay, tandem bicycle race, volleyball, swimming relay, obstacle course, outrigger canoe race, and the tug-of-war. The winning team must win 4 of these 7 events. Total prize money in the competition is $109,000. The winning team in each event will receive $5,000 and the losing team $2,000. $40,000 will go to the overall winning team and $20,000 to the second place team. An enthusiastic crowd is awaiting the start of the running relay. In fact, many of the students at Waialua High School have formed a blue team to root for the NFC. Others are dressed in red to cheer for the AFC. While Dave Dewis from the Bears gets some final taping, Ahmad is with Irving Fryer of the AFC Patriots, who's ready for a big race.
You know, in this competition, one of the things that I would not want to do is run against Ron Brown. And I think you have drawn the straw that you were going to run against Ron?
No, I didn't draw the straw. I think the straw was tattooed to me. So, you know, I have to go and run against Ron Brown, and we'll see what's going to happen.
No. When I talked to you earlier this morning, you already said that it was no big deal that you would smoke Ron Brown.
Oh, I did say that. Okay, okay, I said it.
You did say that?
No, I didn't say that.
You did say that. Ron, did you say earlier this morning, he told me that it would be no problem at all. He'd run against people like you all the time.
Oh, he's world class, too.
Oh, wait a minute.
This is going to be a good race. Thank you, sir.
World class? He's not world class.
I'm a world-class individual.
I don't think that's going to have anything to do with this race, though. Would you please take it easy on me? He's a friend of mine. Don't be too hard on him, would you?
He's a friend of mine, so we're going to have fun. We're going to make competitive. We're not going to pull any muscles out here.
Stay tuned. This could be the race of the day.
You might be right, Ahmad. Around this 440-yard track, the race will be divided into 6 legs. Leading off for the AFC and the NFC teams will be Kansas City's Deron Cherry and the Cowboys' Everson Walls running the first 110 yards. Andre Tippett of the Patriots and the 49ers' Roger Craig will handle the next 110 yards. Miami's Mark Clayton and the 49ers' Carlton Williamson will run the first 220-yard leg. Followed by the Raiders' Lester Hayes and Chicago's Dave Dewerson in the next 220 yards. Then it's the Patriots' Irving Fryer and the Rams Olympian Ron Brown in another 220-yard leg. Finally, Fred Marion of New England and Green Bay's James Lofton will run a full 440-yard leg to the finish. Now the runners are down, the gun is up. And we're ready to start the first event of Super Teams. Running for the NFC in the near lane is Everson Walls of the Cowboys. For the AFC, Duran Cherry of Kansas City. This is a 110-yard leg. For the first two legs of the relay race, the runners must stay in their lane. Everson Walls holds his lead and passes the baton to Roger Craig. Running for the AFC is Andre Tippett.
And Andre Tippett shows quite a bit of speed here. This is why he's one of the best pass rushers and pass defenders in the National Football League.
Now to the third leg of the race, a 220-yard leg, and Mark Clayton of the Dolphins breaks nicely, leading for the AFC, being pursued by Carlton Williamson of the 49ers.
A 220 is a tough leg. It shows a lot of endurance for Mark Clayton right here because he doesn't seem to be tiring. He's running a good, strong leg.
Bruce, what a great feeling as a wide receiver to just run right by one of these defensive backs.
Here's the defensive back holding the lead now for the AFC, Lester Hayes of the Raiders against Chicago's Dave Duerson.
And Bruce, Lester Hayes was a former state high school track champion.
But he seems to be laboring right here. Look at his head. It's moving back and forth. You know he's in trouble. Dave Duerson of the NFC is starting to make his move on him. Lester Hayes starting to tighten up. You can see his head come back. You know he's in trouble. That's a 220-yard leg. It is tough. Here's the matchup.
The Flyers are in there now. There's Olympic champion Ron Brown in pursuit of super-fast Irving Fryer of the Patriots.
And Irving Fryer knows that Ron Brown is an Olympic gold medal sprinter. And in his mind, he knows that no matter how fast he runs, he's going to get caught.
And he's getting caught as Ron Brown goes around the outside. He still looks strong on the track.
Now the NFC has the lead back as James Lofton runs the final leg, 440 yards. Matched against him is Fred Marion of New England.
Well, Fred Marion has his work cut out for him. James Lofton, one of the great track athletes this country's ever produced. One of the great long jumpers, very versatile, also a great 200-meter man. And look at him now. It doesn't even look like he's lost his stride at all. With all those years of football, he's putting up his finger number one. He knows he's got it made.
This is the final leg of the first event of the Dodge Super Teams, the relay race in the National Conference with James Lofton running in the lead. Is ready to take it going away.
Fred Marion working very hard, but look at James Lofton out in the lead. You just can't say enough of this guy. He's obviously been able to keep himself in shape.
So the National Conference very confident going into this race with runners like James Lofton, and Ron Brown comes home the victor and takes event number one.
The interesting matchup here was Irving Fryer up against Ron Brown, and Irving Fryer knew he was in trouble right from the start. As soon as he gets the baton, he's just going into the turn. He's already starting to look over his shoulder to see now, where is Ron Brown? Well, he doesn't have to wait long, because as he looks over again, he sees Ron Brown right up on his shoulder.
And when Ron Brown took the lead, the NFC went on to hold it for the rest of the race. Here's Ahmad.
Congratulations, NFC have shown that they are the faster of this group right here. But, James, you did it like every day.
It was tough.
Where's Roger Craig, who I seen get walked? No, come on over. You and Andre Tippett, that was quite a showdown, but he was catching you at the end.
Okay, we had a bad exchange with Carlton there.
Oh, well, the monkey jumped on him. You saw it. The monkey did jump on him. But Ron Brown, let me get over here. Ron, that was a nice, smooth leg you ran. Was it anything like the Olympics?
Oh, no, I don't run that far now. It's a long way. I feel like I was in conditioning and so out of condition. But I'm going to recover for it, I think, by the evening. So swimming event comes up, I should be ready.
But we now know who is the fastest group between the AFC and the NFC, right?
Oh, yeah, we knew that before it came out.
They were confident and should be with people like Ron Brown and James Lofton. With that victory, the NFC takes a 1-0 lead in the Dodge Super Teams. The AFC is back on the track and very ready for the tandem bicycle race. That's coming up next on NBC Sports World. We're back on Oahu, Hawaii with the Dodge Super Teams. Tucked less than a mile from the Pacific Ocean and surrounded by sugarcane and pineapple fields is Waialua High School, site of the tandem bike race. Here's Ahmad with the AFC, Steve Largent.
All right, I'm here with the captain of the AFC group, and one of the best thing or smartest thing you've done all day is stay out of the running race.
Well, I'm trying to maintain my secret speed.
But you guys are behind already in this competition. This is your chance to catch back up.
It is. We were looking at the bike event as one of the events that we needed to win. So we're kind of stacking our team up and going for this event.
So there is strategy here. You have small players in this event.
We want to try to get some of our speed guys in there, and hopefully they can compensate for me.
You know, but the thing is not only are the guys small, but they're making sort of a fashion statement with this hat. I noticed you had yours tilted a little bit to the right.
This will be the new thing. I mean, right after the Roselle headbands and the sunglasses will be the bike helmet. We've got the cool look, the French cool look, and kind of the country and western look.
Well, just make sure that's on when you finish.
That's right. Hope I don't have to use it.
That's right.
There's one of those big bad Chicago Bears, Otis Wilson.
Ready to do battle.
Big Otis ready for battle. The way the tandem bike race sets up, there will be 3 sets of bikes from each team in the race, with the first 2 bicycles on each team going once around the track, and the last 2 bikes going twice around.
Don, I got to favor the NFC. They've won everything so far. They won the Super Bowl, they won the Pro Bowl, and I have a feeling they're going to win this bicycle tandem race here.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ahmad, I'll go with the AFC just to make it interesting. I think they've been down long enough. They've got to come up with a victory here, and I think they're going to push themselves.
The key here, Bruce, is for these riders to keep within striking distance and put all the pressure on the guys who ride the anchor leg.
Right now, Mark Clayton in the back on the red bike. Look how nice and easy and upright. He's just pushing, and he's pulling away from that NFC team. They've got a lot of horsepower, but they also have a lot of weight for that little bike.
You'd be surprised at the speeds that you can get on this bicycle. And on this dirt track, once you get going real fast, it's a little bit scary trying to make these turns.
Especially a lot of these guys are not used to being on a bike, let alone to be on a bike on a slippery surface. But coming around after the first lap, the AFC with a nice big lead.
Second set of riders on the way now. Lester Hayes and Duran Cherry, 2 defensive backs, hold the lead for the AFC. 2 very strong riders and sprinters, James Lofton and Ron Brown, on the bike for the NFC.
Well, the track coaches throughout the world are a little bit afraid to see 2 great track athletes on a bike like that, going as hard as they can. Let me tell you, here goes the track guys. James Lofton and Ron Brown on the inside, down the backstretch.
Not only are they the track guys, Bruce, they're also the NFC, and here they go taking the lead.
The NFC with a nice lead as they go into the turn, going a little wide, getting a little slippery, as James Lofton maneuvers that bike around the turn, and the NFC has the lead.
Now the NFC holding to a slight lead, a shaky start for the AFC. The AFC team running second is Steve Largent and Irving Pryor. They're now looking strong going into the first turn of the final leg as they pass Roger Craig and Everson Walls of the NFC.
Now here's where their strategy starts to take effect. Steve Largent told us before the race that he wanted to put 2 small guys on the bike because he felt like they could get their rhythm going, get their timing going, and that's when they could take a lead.
Remember, Ahmad, this is a 2-lap race, twice around the track, so endurance is going to play a factor here.
What about when the thighs start to burn? You think it started yet?
I don't think so, not at this pace. They seem to be picking it up a little bit. AFC has the lead and the cheering section going for them.
Those wives know where the money is, and right now, this close race, the AFC, very important if they win this to get back in competition. They trailed after the first event. They can even it all now with a victory, and it looks like they're going to get one.
Even though Pryor and Largent are way out in the outside lane, they are still pulling away from the NFC.
Who said that Steve Largent didn't have speed? All you got to do is give him a bicycle.
He looks tough as he goes down the backstretch into the final turn.
So the AFC is going to pedal home a very substantial victor in the tandem bicycle race, and the Dodge Super Team's competition will be even at 1 victory apiece. Remember, it's best of 7.
Meanwhile, these 2 guys, Roger Craig and Everson Walls, were just out for a Sunday stroll.
But, Ahmad, remember that start. It was awfully shaky for Steve Largent. As he came to the inside, watch his hands. He seems to have trouble controlling the bike. And he's overcorrecting, and the bike is slipping a little bit. And it's a little bit shaky.
So with the AFC victory in the tandem bicycle race, we're even. Steve Largent's fashion statement may have had something to do with it. The NFC victory in the running relay, the AFC team pulling out a victory in the tandem bikes. We have the beginning of a real battle. Coming up, the swimming relay, the obstacle course, and the war canoe race. teams have moved back to Turtle Bay in the pool. Event number 3 is coming up now. After running and bicycling, we try a whole new exercise. Our next event is the swimming competition. And now we've seen a lot of people go fast on land. Now let's see what they can do in the tank.
Well, the first few events were really for the strong runners, the guys that had the strong legs. But now all of a sudden, that's all out of the way. Now it's how good you can swim. Now, everybody has heard about fish being out of water. Well, I think in a few minutes we're going to see the same thing that happens to fish out of water happen to a few human beings when they're in the water. So this is the fun part of the competition, and I can't wait to see these big guys try to swim.
Well, the teams are preparing for the start of the swimming relay. But first, let's take a look at what happened in the volleyball competition on the beach. Up to this point, each team had won one event. In the volleyball, the first team to get 15 points wins. The winning team must win by 2 points. As we look back on the match, the lead had been mostly on the side of the NFC. Nevertheless, the AFC had the lead at 10-9 at this stage of the game, and the NFCers were regrouping.
And, Don, they needed to regroup because the NFC started off with a nice big lead. And then Dan Hampton started serving. He was trying to even the score up.
Now, one of the things you got to realize about this volleyball game is we have a lot of athletes out here that have never touched a ball. We have linebackers, defensive linemen. These guys have the touch of a blacksmith.
It seemed like the best they could do was just to try to keep it in bounds and keep the ball on the other side of the court. And the AFC trying to maneuver the ball around the NFC. Oh, with a great save for the AFC.
Not a lot of strategy here, but they're keeping it in play.
Now, the longer they keep it in play, the more pressure it puts on these guys. Now, did I mention the touch of a blacksmith? That's Steve Nelson. They're banging the ball right in the middle of the net.
Back at the competition, this is Don Crickey with Bruce Jenner and Ahmad Rashad. We're watching volleyball. The AFC in red trailing at this point 14-13. It's a game to 15. You must win by 2.
And with that point, the AFC tied it up 14-all as the NFC can feel the heat. AFC still serving. Remember, in volleyball, the only way you can score a point is when you serve. So the AFC on the offense right now, moving the ball around nicely.
Well, at this point, the game started to take on serious proportions, Bruce.
A lot of big guys getting serious about all this volleyball here.
And the NFC won that rally. Now, remember, they did not score because they weren't serving. What they did is they won the serve back. So now Dan Hampton of the Chicago Bears. He had a great rally earlier in the competition. When he was serving, they scored about 5 points in a row. So they got their man back up there.
Roger Craig is holding down the middle for the NFC. You think he picked up his volleyball expertise in Iowa?
I doubt it. I think he picked that up once he got to San Francisco on the beaches. The NFC pushing real hard. The AFC trying to hold on. The score is 14-all. A nice move in the middle for the NFC.
Back to Roger Craig.
Roger Craig, the workhorse on this team, is Lester Hayes.
Lester lost it.
Into the bleachers, Lester Hayes went.
This point in volleyball, National Conference serving and leading 15-14. So we're at game point with big Dan Hampton on the serve.
A lot of pressure on these guys in the red from the AFC right here. They've got to win this point.
Remember, in the overall score, the NFC is up 2-1. If the AFC loses it here, they could be in trouble. Oh, and that was it. The NFC won it.
Lester Hayes used to intercepting footballs, but not volleyballs, and the NFC gets the deciding point, wins the volleyball 16-14. The indecision of Lester Hayes and Andre Tippett at the net was the final blow for the AFC.
All right. Under the great serving arm of Dan Hampton, you guys pulled it out. Actually, you served well, and you got some points, and then all of a sudden it got a little shaky there, guys. I didn't know if you were going to pull it out.
I don't know. I thought we'd do it like we did the Pro Bowl. Spot them a few touchdowns and come back and beat them at the end. But, you know, these guys are tough. You got to give them credit. And what can you say? The win was in our favor today.
Well, actually, this team didn't even start moving until Roger Craig came in there. Big Raj came in. You know, those Davenport, Iowa guys, they really know how to play volleyball, right?
Definitely. I just want to
Thanks, James, let me get come in at the time. Everybody was tired and everything, and I was ready for the fourth quarter to pull us through.
All right, James Lofton, he's giving you all the credit for the great coaching. Yeah, great captain.
Great coaching move. I knew who to hold out, that we could outpace them. We had more endurance. I mean, we spent 5 minutes working on this before it started.
Well, good thing you weren't overtrained for this one. Congratulations. That put you guys back out in the lead.
Here's the final point of volleyball. NFC in blue puts it up high, and Lester Hayes is out of position, and the NFC wins it, takes a 2-1 lead. Dan Hampton, a big, tough Chicago Bear, was critical to the volleyball win, just as he was in New Orleans in Super Bowl 20. He talked with Ahmad.
This team is very hungry, and we're driven. And I like to call it playing on the edge. We like to play as hard as we can each and every week, and we look forward to the next game. Once one game's over, we don't really rest on our laurels. We say, well, this is good and fine. We're 8-0, but we want to be 9-0. We can't wait for next week. And if we can keep that same type of attitude next year, I think it'll be a big asset for us.
Best team you've ever been on?
A lot of people say this may be the best team that's been around in a number of years. Obviously, it's the best team I've ever been on. And, the funny thing is, anytime the camera pans on someone, they always go like this. Never in my life I've been able to go like this and with a clear conscience, but I can do it now, and it's really a great feeling, but I know it'll only last 6 months. We've got to go back out and prove it again.
One of the things that everybody's talking about is Buddy Ryan not being there anymore. What kind of effects is that going to have on your team?
Well, obviously, Buddy was a very integral part of what we did and our success, but John Hanna, he's been around a long time, and I think he had the best statement about the way our defense played last year. He says, it's not the way they line up, it's the way they play when they line up. And if we can, like I said, if we can keep the same type of intensity, I think we'll play good and we'll be a good defense. But Buddy was the guy that designed the defense that was so exceptionally successful, and I don't know if we'll run that defense or we'll run something else, but obviously I think we have the people to run anything and be successful at it.
Dan Hampton of the Bears ready to put on his first Super Bowl ring. So the standings after the volleyball show the NFC leading 2-1. The NFC could put the AFC in deep trouble with another victory. Still to come, the swimming relay, the obstacle course, and the Hawaiian war canoe race. This is Don Crickey along with Ahmad Rashad and Bruce Jenner welcoming you back to the Dodge Super Teams on the North Shore of Oahu. Now we move to poolside and the swimming relay. Here's Bruce.
All these athletes were in their heyday when they were on the track, but in Super Teams competition, we don't want to make it too easy on them. So now we're at the pool. And leading off is Fred Marion of New England. I'm sure you've done a lot of swimming up there in New England, huh?
No, it's too cold to do swimming up there, but I've done some swimming in my life.
Have you really?
Yes, I have.
So you're very confident?
Well, we need to win this. They beat us in the volleyball, so we need to even things up.
All right, so good luck to you. Now, you're going up against Roger Craig. Now, his nickname, I hear, is Catfish. That's true?
I think so.
Yeah. So who knows? He could be tough. Let's go find out here. Now, here we go. Roger Craig, now, first guy, NFL record, rushing for 1,000 yards and receiving for 1,000 yards. Now, I hear your nickname is Catfish, huh? Is that true?
Well, where I got that name was from Freddie Solomon, and I can't let him down since they nicknamed me the Catfish. So I have to show him I can swim a little bit.
Everson Walls will swim the next 50-yard leg for the NFC against a 12-year veteran from the New England Patriots, Steve Nelson, their big linebacker.
Just looking at Steve Nelson, I have the feeling that he's a very good swimmer. I don't know why I have this feeling. I just feel this way. Now, Dave Durson from the world champion Chicago Bears told me earlier that he was a lifeguard. But I talked to his wife, and I found out he was at a wading pool, so he never had to swim.
And he'll be going against Deron Cherry of the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC. Then in the last 50-yard leg, the guy will take up a lot of water. Randy White of the Dallas Cowboys will swim for the National Conference. He'll be going against Steve Largent of the AFC.
Randy White is probably the best swimmer of the entire group, and he's been saving himself for this event right here. Steve Largent, the best thing he could do is try to get all the way over to the corner of his lane and stay out of the way of Randy.
Then in the final 25-yard leg, the NFC will have James Lofton of Green Bay And he'll be up against a whale of a swimmer, the all-pro guard from the New England Patriots, Ham Hocks Hanna, Big John Hanna.
John Hanna has been swimming competitively since he was 3 or 4 years old.
It's a 25-yard pool here at the Turtle Bay Hilton Country Club. First two swimmers, Roger Craig and Fred Marion, will swim one length, 25 yards.
Now, the strategy in this event is to dive into the water, start kicking your legs as hard as you can, and swinging your arms as hard as you can, and you'd be surprised at what happens. All of a sudden, your arms and your legs turn to cement, and at that point, you better hope you're in the shallow end of the pool.
All right, Everson Walls swimming against Steve Nelson for the AFC, and Walls has a nice lead right now.
He also has a nice style, nice style about him. Half his body's out of the water. Is he walking?
I hope not, but remember, this is a 50-yard race, and the next two swimmers have to go 50 yards, so we're going to have some major cement arms in this race.
Steve Nelson's coming on strong this second length.
A little bit of endurance here. Steve Nelson making his move, almost tying it up, but the NFC still with a slight lead.
Now, here comes Dave Dorson of the world champion Chicago Bears. Now, he told me he was a lifeguard, but he looks like he's losing a little bit here.
Duron Cherry is pushing him real hard for the AFC, closest to us. And it's still Dorson with the lead. Cherry not far behind. We've got ourselves a close race. Duron Cherry actually still getting hung up in the ropes. He's starting to lose a little bit. Dorson showing some good endurance is actually starting to pull away.
I think Cherry's got a little bit of cement action in his arms. That's why he ran into that rope.
Now hitting the water like Moby Dick is big Randy White of Dallas, a substantial lead for the NFC.
He's going up against Steve Largent. Now, Largent looks like a pretty good swimmer. Here we have two completely different body types. Randy White, the big man, against Steve Largent, the smaller, swift man, but it seems the big man is holding his own, Ahmad.
Well, the big man is very fresh. He hasn't done any of the events so far, and he was all psyched up for this swimming competition.
Steve Largent trying to push as James Lofton, the final leg, only 25 yards, going up against John, the big man, Hanna.
I don't know what to say about Hog Hanna. It's just amazing to see this man as big as he is in the water.
But James Lofton comes to the wall first, and the NFC wins. None of these NFC swimmers a threat for Olympic gold, but they did what they had to do to win. Paige Hanna is at poolside. She was rooting on Big John. If he wasn't the best swimmer, at least he was the biggest. James Lofton won it, though, for the NFC. Bruce is with John Hanna now.
Well, have you caught your wind?
No, I'm glad it was only 25 yards for me, you know.
Let me tell you, you hit that water and you were gone. You made up some ground on him.
They just had too much ground, and, you know, I think James might have been knowing that, too. You know, that might be why he slowed down.
Have you ever done any swimming before besides something like this?
Oh, yeah, I've been swimming since I was 3 or 4 years old, so...
You look good. You had a good, smooth stroke out there. You were going hard.
Streamline, you know, that's my problem.
No, you're more of a aircraft carrier than you are of a...
Well, yeah.
Well, I didn't want to say that.
I was looking for Greenpeace T-shirts. I didn't want to get them get in my way, but everything came out good.
Well, good. It was a good run.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I can't believe you can swim like that.
It surprised me, I'll tell you that.
You knew it going in there. Now, everybody knows that you can run out of the water, but you did very well in this pool.
I watched a lot of old Tarzan movies.
What about this, James? NFC 3, AFC 1, huh?
One more event, that's all we need.
You guys are awful cocky this year.
Well, it's the Chicago guys. Yeah, they've been teaching us that shuffle at night.
All right, congratulations, man.
James Lofton is the anchor man. The NFC adds swimming to its list of wins. One more victory, and the NFC has the overall championship.
Don, you know, competition isn't the only goal for these NFL stars. It's also a chance to rest those bruised bones. Now, John Hanna and his wife, Paige, enjoyed the sights from horseback. I pity the horse that John's riding. As the sun sets before the competition began, it was a time for the traditional Hawaiian luau. It's a time for just plain fun for all the athletes. With wives and children in hand, the players got a chance to sample the Hawaiian version of a pregame meal. And in case you're interested, both teams ate everything in sight. Now, one of the most remarkable things is some of these guys even tried to dance. Mark Clayton's moves in Miami are a far sight better than what he showed in Hawaii. With the rhythm of the music and the sight of pretty girls behind them, the NFC and the AFC teams had found friendship and good fun on the North Shore.
But soon the party was over and it was time to get down to business. Coming up next, the obstacle course. Rashad and Bruce Jenner from the North Shore of Oahu, Hawaii. The NFC has won 3 events. The AFC has taken 1. The NFC needs only 1 more victory to win the championship and $40,000 in bonus money. In addition, if the NFC wins our next event, the obstacle course, each winning athlete gets the use of a 1986 Dodge convertible for 1 year. Pro football referee Bob McElwee is the commissioner, giving last-minute instructions. Now we come to the obstacle course, an event that tests the speed and dexterity and strength of the athletes, all the attributes of a complete athlete on display here. For more on the course, here's Bruce Jenner.
Thank you, Don. This is the start of the obstacle course right behind me, and it has humbled many a superstar in its day. But this is super teams competition, and this is how it's going to work. There are 6 competitors on each team, and they add up the time of these 6 competitors through the course to determine the winner. Now, there is one catch. The penalty points for the final competitor are double, so we ought to stay nice and close. All right, the explanation for the course. It starts right here. It's about a 15-yard run to the wall. Now, the one catch today is the ground is wet because we're so close to the ocean that it's going to be very slippery and tough to get over that 12-foot high wall. Once you come down the other side, you land, and immediately you go through the tunnel. Once you come out of that tunnel, you hit a standard football blocking sled. Push it about 10 yards, and then you're on to the tires. And there is the always eloquent Ahmad Rashad to explain further. Ahmad?
All right, thanks a lot, Bruce. Now, these football players, a lot of people think that this is where it becomes easy because they'll have to go through these tires. But I guarantee the last coach that used these tires was probably Newt Rockney. These guys know nothing about it. The hardest thing for them to do will be to negotiate those size 12s and 13s inside these small tires. Now, once they come out of the end of the tires, they will have to pick up speed because they have a 12-foot water jump. Now, the key here is to not jump too far because you have to gather yourself to negotiate a 4-foot 6-inch high jump. Now, you'll see some of the lighter athletes step over this height, but some of the bigger guys may use the old tuck and roll. Now, once they get out of that, they have to pick up some more speed, but not too much because they have to negotiate 2 hurdles at the end of the race and then drive to the finish line, and it's as simple as that.
The AFC needs a victory in this event to stay alive. There will be 6 pairs of competitors in the obstacle course. Here's Bruce Jenner with the first 2.
All right, our first matchup is the battle of the wide receivers. First, Irving Fryer of New England Patriots and Ron Brown, the Los Angeles Rams. But Irving, probably more importantly, he got you pretty good in that relay race. And now here's your chance to come back.
Yeah, it's a chance for all of us to come back because they got us really good in the volleyball and also the swimming event. So, we have to win the rest of the events that are left and, in order to win this competition.
All right, so you're psyched for this?
Oh, definitely.
All right. And Ron Brown, you have that great speed, Olympic champion, but, I don't know if it's going to help you here. Do you think it will?
Bruce, I don't think it's going to help me. I need help getting over this wall.
That's right. At the games, they didn't have that 12-foot wall right at the start, did they?
No, they didn't. Plus, he's after me now. So.
Well, that's good. It ought to be a good race. Good luck to you guys.
Thank you.
Cumulative time in the obstacle course decides the winning team. Ron Brown and Irving Fryer, ready to compete here, are both very adroit at ducking obstacles. They're the leading kick returners in the NFL. Fryer was #1 in punt returns. Ron Brown #1 in kickoff returns. But they're not too familiar, Bruce, with the obstacle course.
They're going to have a tough time with this, mainly because right there you see their feet are wet from that wet grass and they're slipping on the wall. So it was a little tough getting over. But Irving Fryer with the lead right now, pushing the blocking sled, looking pretty strong. Through the tires clean, Ron Brown right behind him. Fryer over the high jump bar successfully. And Ron Brown making his move, but he's not going to do it. Irving Fryer the winner. A little bit of sweet revenge for Irving Pryor.
Moved right through this thing, no problem at all.
That was rough. That was very rough. I thought I was going to make it over that wall a little faster than I did.
Yeah, but you paid Ron back. I heard before the race that you said you're going to try to pay him back here.
Well, yeah, I think earlier today, he beat me a little more in the relay, but I got him.
So the AFC takes the lead in the obstacle course, but by less than a second. Next two competitors, Otis Wilson of the Bears and Andre Tippett of New England.
All right, Otis. Here's your chance going up against New England again. You know, you humbled them pretty good a few weeks ago in the Super Bowl, but I don't know, this is a whole different ball game.
There's no question about it. My main fear is getting over this 12-foot wall. I tell you, I think once I get over this wall, I guess everything, let your natural, athletic ability take care of that.
I mean, you all year long have been running through offensive lines, and a little 12-foot wall, piece of wood is going to slow you down?
Yeah, but that wall is high and wide, and it's red, too. That's what scares me.
Okay. Now, Andre, he say it's going to be tough to get over that wall. Now, this is sort of the battle of the big guys, and it does sort of look tough from here, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is. I got up there once, and I got scared to jump down, so my biggest fear also is just getting up there and getting over.
Well, here's your chance to beat a Chicago Bear one more time, all right?
Well, I hope so.
Okay, good luck to you guys.
Andre Tippett, despite a 245-pound body weight, is one of the fastest linebackers in the whole NFL, and Otis Wilson's right there with him. Let's see how these big guys hit the first wall.
Oh, Otis Wilson slips on the right of your screen, is having a tough time getting up over the wall, has to actually pull himself over the wall. Andre Tippett through the tunnel first, hits the blocking sled. He certainly can move that. Otis Wilson pushing really hard, starting to make up some ground right now, but Andre Tippett with a very nice lead. Tippett, everything seems to be successful. Otis Wilson trying to make his move, but he just can't do it. The AFC stretches out its lead.
Well, I want both of you guys. The battle of the big man. See, the athletic ability of these two big fellas out here, this is the main reason why I got out of the game. You guys aren't supposed to be that quick over that wall.
I tell you, Andre, he came over that wall, put that pressure on me, I got shit. I said, he's already over. I know when he climbed over and jumped over it.
Well, wait a minute. You guys aren't supposed to be able to negotiate hurdles and water jumps like that.
Oh, we're a new breed of linebackers.
That's right. But the AFC, you guys won up, huh?
Well, I tell you, I'm glad we don't do this anymore.
You may have to do it again. We may have a rundown or something.
I hope not. I hope not.
All right, man. Congratulations, guys.
And there is a red flag showing on the NFC course. Otis Wilson, it is at the water jump. So obviously he failed to negotiate the water jump properly. Let's take another look as the big man comes charging down. Now it's about 12 feet across. There's the takeoff board. He hits it. Looks pretty clean here. But, just doesn't get quite enough height. You can see some dirt kick up. A 2-second penalty.
You're tired, huh?
Next time, she's going to do it. She's going to do it next time.
So through two heats, the AFC has an almost 4-second lead. Next up, it'll be Carlton Williamson against Steve Largent as the Super Teams competition continues. Back on the north shore of Oahu, headlining the next heat in the obstacle course is Steve Largent of Seattle and the AFC team. Largent's exceptional success was earned the old-fashioned way through very hard work.
I'm not a great athlete. Across the NFL, there's a lot better athletes playing wide receiver. I think because I'm not as talented that throughout my football playing career, but I've always worked hard. That sense of competition and kind of a hard work ethic has been two qualities that have served me well. People have this image that being a professional athlete, that if you're a professional athlete, that you make tons of money, number one, and that you never do any work or you don't have to do any of the normal household things that everybody else does. And they just picture you as being a jet setter traveling around the world playing in golf tournaments and tennis tournaments and that sort of thing. And, that's not the way it is. Oh, nice. I have 4 children of my own, and I know how important that is to have positive role models for your kids because there's a whole lot of negative ones. So I realize, maybe more so than other guys, how important it is to have people in your children's life that they look up to, besides their parents, that they can say, I want to be like that guy. And so I want to be one of those people that are on TV or in professional football or professional sports who other parents write me and say, hey, we're really glad that our son idolizes you and he has your poster up on the wall, and we're proud to say that he wants to be like you.
Now Steve Largent ready to compete against Carlton Williamson of the San Francisco 49ers. At this point in the obstacle course competition, the AFC has almost a 4-second lead.
And Williamson in trouble on the blue course. Steve Largent finally making it over, but Williamson is in trouble. Oh, and he slipped. Steve Largent with a big lead on the blocking sled, but the story is Carlton Williamson in trouble on the wall. He keeps slipping. One of the best defensive backs in the business, and he can't get over the wall. Steve Largent, he's not doing too well either.
He's going to give it up now. Run around is Carlton Williamson, a man in imminent physical danger, trying to negotiate this obstacle course. He's a long way from done now.
Let me tell you, I think if he ever does this again, the 49ers are going to require him wearing his helmet on the course.
Right down on his head.
Oh, my God, what? That looks like destruction all on the course I ran. This is demolished. You knocked the tires over, the bars down, the hurdles are all knocked over. Steve, what are you doing? The blocking dummy was pushing me back. Oh, wait a minute. Let me get your competition. Carlton, come over here. I want you to know you've embarrassed your son, Kevin. 3 weeks old, was saying, watch my dad come over the wall. Said that for about 10 minutes, you never quite got over it.
I'll tell you talk about the Great Wall of China. It's the Great Wall of Turtle Bay.
Steve would have given me a chance, too. He demolished the course.
Oh, really?
I heard the gun go off, and then I saw Steve come over the wall, and then we couldn't find you.
Oh, man, I had a tough time getting leverage, grips, starting running, everything.
All right. You going back down there, I'm going to explain it to you 3-week-old son that maybe you get a mess time.
Now the AFC in command.
Roger Craig and Fred Marion. Now, I saw you both standing here just a second ago while Carlton Williamson was trying to get over that wall, and you both thought that, uh-oh, I'm up here next. Now, that didn't scare you at all, did it?
Oh, yeah, it scared me when I saw him slide back down. It must be pretty tough, but if you get over the wall, you can kind of, take care of it.
Okay, well, we'll see. And Fred, AFC like a 45-second lead at this point, so really you could be very conservative.
Well, that's true, but we still want to get the best time possible, and getting over that wall is the big key to everything today.
All right, well, good luck to both of you.
Carlton Williamson talked about the Great Wall of China here at North Shore of Oahu, and that's what they found it to be. A 12-second penalty if you just run around it, and they have to make a play on it, at least try to get over it. Fred Marion in the red shirt for the AFC. Roger Craig on the right side for the NFC. And Marion's going to give the AFC a bigger lead as, again, the National Conference competitor can't make the wall, at least not yet.
Fred Marion looking real strong, but I'm surprised with Roger Craig. He's been in the Superstars competition. He's one of the only guys that comes to this obstacle course with a little bit of experience. He's trying to make up some ground now, but Fred Marion cleanly over the high jump bar, and it looks like it's going to be even a bigger lead for the AFC.
Easy does it. You know what? You boys from San Francisco have a tough time getting over that wall. First Carlton and then you. The gun went off, and I didn't even see your hand for quite some time.
I'll tell you.
I guess you'll tell me later. Now, wait a minute, Fred. Earlier in the competition, your wife told me you can swim. I looked back here on the bottom of the pool, but this you did very well.
Yeah, yesterday I took a bad dive with Roger. He had a good swim, but today I was able to get on the wall a little faster than he was.
AFC must have done something right because they're getting it together in this competition.
Well, we don't have a choice. I mean, if they win one, they win the overall competition, so we're trying to come back.
All right. Congratulations, guys. Good luck to you. Can you talk yet? You sure? You want to explain the wall? Why players from San Francisco have a problem with the wall?
The grass is a little slippery.
The wind's a little bad. The sun's a little high. All right, see you later, man.
More trouble for the NFC. It seems that Roger Craig did not negotiate the water jump. You can see where his foot landed right on that red line, and you must clear it. So that's a 2-second penalty. But again, the good old wall got another athlete. On the right of your screen, it's Roger Craig. And what actually happened, because the grass is wet, once he got up on the wall, his feet slipped. He lost his momentum and had to crawl up the wall.
The wall is something else. It's really slippery. You can't really get a good grip on it.
With just 2 more heats left in the obstacle course, the AFC now leads by over 46 seconds. We'll be back to the Turtle Bay Hilton and Country Club with the obstacle course competition continuing. Rashad back at the Turtle Bay Hilton and Country Club on the north shore of Oahu. With the NFC up 3 events to 1 over the AFC. The AFC has to win the obstacle course competition, and right now the American Conference has an almost insurmountable lead of over 46 seconds. Here's the next 2 competitors. In the white for the AFC, Duran Cherry against Dave Duerson of the NFC and the Chicago Bears.
Both athletes very tentative as they reach the wall. They've seen enough things happen there today. It looks like Dave Duerson is going to be first over the wall. Cherry not far behind. Duerson hits the blocking sled. Cherry, remember, they have a 46-second lead going into this event, so the AFC can be a little bit conservative.
Dave Duerson, a very consistent performer throughout the super teams for the NFC. Hurtling on home with a victory here in this heat, but the AFC still with a huge lead.
Man, come over here, Duran. Don't try to sneak away. Come on right over here. That looked relatively easy, man.
Well, you know, we got to make up 57 seconds. You just got to give it all you got.
So they put all the pressure on you to make that up.
I'm telling you, it wasn't enough.
I want this dive. I saw the way you went over the high jump pit. That's a new kind of, some kind of new kind of style, isn't it?
I lost all my energy in the pool.
No, but everybody else had to do the same thing. I want to know, explain that dive over the high jump bar.
By that time, I was so fatigued. Riggy jumped on my back. I couldn't do nothing but just try to jump.
All right, AFC, you guys are still getting it together here. Good luck to you.
Just trying to keep it close.
All right, good luck to you guys.
Dave Duerson mentioned they were behind by 57 seconds. Wasn't quite that bad, and now the AFC's lead is 42 seconds.
All right, guys, let's get you right in here together. Here we have the wide receivers, the final ones to go. You know, they always leave it up to the wide receivers, you know, when they really need it. Right, James?
I think we're a little behind. I think Mark has agreed to go up and back to keeping this thing off.
That's not a bad idea, because last year, the Superstars, Mark, come on in here. I saw you and Willie Gault run off for both, ran a Superstars record, and so you know how to do this thing.
Yes, I feel pretty comfortable with this, and I'm not going to try to set any records today. I just want to finish with no penalties.
All right, well, a nice lead for the AFC. Let me tell you, you guys could use the points.
Oh, yeah, our backs to the wall. This is what we're going to see what we're made of.
All right, well, let's get your back on that wall right now. Good luck to you guys.
Mark Clayton, a phenomenal athlete. He's not big, but his jumping ability, Bruce, is extraordinary.
A 42-inch vertical leap on that young man, and let me tell you, he can get off the ground. Now, I've seen him in the Superstars competition before, and I saw him last year run a Superstars record, although it was beaten by Willie Gault in that race. He can go over the wall. Now, this is a good indication of how tough the wall really is, and it looks like James Lofton is over first. Lofton with a nice lead, and remember, this is the final 2 competitors in this competition. The penalty points are going to be doubled. But right now, James Lofton out in the lead. Clayton not far behind. The water jump. It's Lofton. Lofton hits the high jump bar. Mark Clayton is over clean. It looks like it's Lofton winning it.
Wait a minute. Hold it now. Hold it. James, wait a minute. You hit the bar coming over. I didn't think you'd do that.
Well, everybody else on the team had penalties, so I figured I'd get to also.
You had a chance to do yours, huh? Was it as tough as you thought it was going to be?
Not really. Hardest thing is the grass is slippery right before you get to the wall. And everybody's had tough footing going over.
All right, you put a lot of pressure on the AFC, but they've come through. You guys have won this competition. You're sneaking back into this thing.
Yeah, this is a test to see what we're made of. And our backs to the walls, and we're going to come out fighting.
You know, I've seen you run this obstacle course before. Were you just like taking it easy because you knew you had a big time differential?
Yeah, and the penalties were doubled for the penalties in the last heat. And I just wanted to go through with no penalties and finish.
Did you guys have a pregame speech to get this whole thing together here? To get back in the competition?
Yeah, our captain got us together, had a little team meeting. Said that we can do it if we put our minds to it and just believe in each other.
So with a victory in the obstacle course and with 2 events remaining, the AFC is coming back. Another kind of comeback is beginning to take place throughout the NFL. That struggle centers around the question of drug testing for players in the league. It's a problem with no simple answers or concrete solutions yet. Ahmad Rashad addressed the issue earlier.
Super teams are usually a competition where players come to relax and unwind after a long season in the trenches. But this year, there's something more on the player's mind other than relaxing. There's an issue that is tugging at every single player in the National Football League, and that's the issue of drug testing. Now, as a former player, I believe that the credibility of the National Football League is at stake, and something must be done. Either you test at the beginning of the season or at the end of the season. You have to do something to clear up this problem. I don't believe in random testing. Now, I got a hold of some of the players here, and these are their views on the subject.
I'm not in agreement for random drug testing because I think there's too many variables there that could happen. You know, if you go out and you drop 3 passes in a game, they're going to say, hey, we need to bring you in because we suspect that you're on drugs. I believe that if you have drug testing in the preseason, I think that's sufficient enough. But if, you know, it gets to be a problem, I think another test at the end of the year would be nice.
I can't really say we should do it because we have our reps to handle all that. And I am with the NFL, you know, the reps, and I just got to go with what they say.
Whatever the NFLPA sets up as far as the guidelines on it, I'll go along with it and I'll comply with. But I think we have to go through the proper channels and get the thing taken care of.
I am of the strong opinion that players and the National Football League is set up on such a pedestal in our society that we have an enormous responsibility. But in the same light, you got to remember that when I put on the pants, it's a human being put on the pants. And when we're talking about this issue, we're not talking about an issue of professional sports. We're talking about an issue of human morality. We're talking about human ethics. We're also talking about the Constitution. Very, very difficult issues to really grab hold of and say, this is exactly what we're going to do.
So for the first time, the Players Association and management are ready to address this problem, not only for the good of the players, but also for the good of the game.
Coming up, the outrigger canoe race and the tug-of-war as the super teams competition continues. The serene waters of Kahana Bay is the site of the war canoe race. The war canoe, a foreign mode of transportation to these athletes, but it brings out the spirit of teamwork like no other event. This is Don Cricky back at the Super Teams competition. We've now moved to the northeast coast of Oahu, to beautiful Kahana Bay for the event that requires the most teamwork of all, the Hawaiian Outrigger War Canoe Race. For the leaders, the NFC, who are up 3 events to 2 at the moment. Let's go to Bruce Jenner.
Well, the NFC does have the lead. Now, you guys feel like winners?
I don't know. I think we've got this wrapped up because I've got a diving watch, and it looks like it should be in the boat. So I think we're set for the race today anyway.
Look at this whole competition. They go to a lot of the young, light guys, you know, for all these finesse things. But they get to the boat. Look at, they got the meat, the horsepower right in the middle. First, Randy White, have you ever done anything like this before?
Yeah, I've rode this boat a couple times, and it's tough. I tell you what, when we're finished, hopefully we'll win because we'll be tired.
All right, Jay, and they put you in the back now. From what I hear, those aren't sunglasses. Those are actually re-entry shields because you're going to be rowing so hard, huh?
I need them out here for the water and the wind and everything to protect the eyes.
All right, well, they put all the meat in the back here. They put finesse up here. I think the NFC team is going to look real good out there. And, guys, last thing, look out for the sharks, okay? Speaking of sharks, let's go over to Ahmad Rashad.
Something I want to tell you, the NFC wives are already talking about how they're going to drive them cars all off season.
Well, with the money they've made, they can buy their cars. We're going to get free ones. We're going to get free ones. They can buy theirs.
You're set. Huh? You know, any last words, anything, comments, anything you want to say? Okay, he's ready. He's ready. Something you want to say?
I hate to lose, but this is it, and we're going for it all here. If it's not this, there's nothing left. We're getting it.
John, don't tell them they do have sharks out there.
Bro, that'd be a tasty morsel, wouldn't it?
I love sharks. Wait a minute. You've got this ensemble here. What's happening here?
Just a little safety precaution, man. I'm making sure the boat's out there just in case we tip it over or something. We'll be all right.
All right. Jerron, do you know that you may have to save this man if the boat flips?
Save him?
Yeah.
What's that mean?
And Mr. Smooth, remember him on the obstacle course?
Stroll don't have to jump over anything out here.
Nothing at all. But you know what? I was telling the rest of the guys that the NFC wives are already talking about the free cars.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm sure your wife wife's going to have something to say about that if you guys don't pull it out here.
She might. I kind of feel like the passengers of the Titanic must have felt before their fatal sail.
All right, but you guys got to get it back together. Come on, don't let them take it away.
We're coming back.
So the NFC looks to wrap up the championship right here at Kahana Bay. Randy White of the Cowboys is a man used to winning. In 11 NFL seasons, he's been part of a big winner at Dallas, but not this year, and he explains the dilemma.
This year, really, nobody picked us to do anything. And we ended up winning our division, got into the playoffs. The way it ended up against the Rams was kind of a disappointment. But we accomplished a lot of good things, and I think we set a good foundation for next season to come back and give it another shot next year.
You did have a surprising season because people did count you out at the top.
Well, nobody expects us really to do anything. We've had a lot of new people, a lot of young guys just starting out, and nobody really knew how they were going to come through. So it was really a pretty exciting season for me to play on the team because we were up and down. But the one good thing about it, we had a lot of camaraderie on our team, and we played together well. And that's the reason we were able to accomplish what we did, is because we came through when we had to. Although it was a disappointment, we got a little taste of what it is to get back in those playoffs, and hopefully next year will be a better year for us.
There's a good chance this race will be decided on the one turn at the far end of the course. A very difficult turn as the War Canoe rowers are ready to take off.
All right, Don, you remember that cement principle I talked about in swimming? Well, it also applies here. I've rowed in this big boat before in the super teams.
You've done this to them
Yes,
before?
I have. And halfway out, the top part of your body turns into cement. You can barely hang onto the oars. Of course, you know what? I was the guy in the back, and I didn't have to row at all.
And your hands and your arms flew with the cement.
Yeah, I understand that. Right now, it seems to be a pretty close race as both teams are going out to sea. And remember, it's twice around. So they have to go out, go around this buoy all the way back to the shore, back out again, and back into shore. So it is a long, tough race.
The two most important guys in this boat for the NFC is Dave Dorson, who's the steerer in the back, and Steve Largent for the AFC, who is also steering his boat.
You can see the large waves as they come in here to Kahana Bay. All right, this is a very critical part of the race. They're both going to take this turn to the left. Now, the athlete all the way in the back of the boat is actually responsible for steering the boat. He has his oar in the water. He's turning the boat while all the other athletes will just keep rowing.
And Dave Dorson of the world champion Chicago Bears looks like he's done this before because he maneuvers his boat on a nice tight turn around that last buoy.
And with that turn, the NFC with about a 10, 15-yard lead on the AFC. They could wrap it up right here.
Now, Bruce, this is the point in the race where the old cement principle comes into play. They're paddling all in unison. They're also paddling in slow motion because their upper bodies have turned to cement.
Well, not to say it's that tough, Bob, but you did this, what, 5 years ago, and your arms were still tight.
My arms are really tight, and I was only the guy in the back who was steering.
Still about a 10, 15-yard lead for the NFC. The AFC is trying to make their move, but they don't seem to be making up that much ground.
If there's one critical performer here for the national team, it's probably the coxswain in the boat, Dave Dorson, the Chicago Bears, as he has done a superb job bringing his boat around at a very small angle to make the turns much more quickly, much more adroitly than the American Conference team. And is right here on these turns, you see Dorson leaning back, forcing that boat around that has really given the NFC command of this race.
That is definitely the difference, Don. Steve Largent had problems earlier today on the obstacle course, and he's having problems now in steering this boat.
I think the NFC is really doing a good job. I mean, here you have all these athletes come together. Really, maybe a few of them have played football together, but never done anything like this before. And immediately they go out there and hop in this boat, and they're showing some good teamwork.
These wives are showing good teamwork, too. This is the first time we've seen them cheer in unison, "We want the car. We want the car."
Well, it looks like they may get it. The NFC could wrap it up if they can win this race.
The National Conference team demonstrating a lot of stamina. They seem to be getting stronger, but again, we're coming to that critical far turn. If one of the boats messes that up and the National Conference will go into the turn first, it can make all the difference in the world. This is where the canoe race is won and lost on the turn.
This is Duron Cherry's wife, Keeping the Faith. By the way, that's her name.
Well, here goes the NFC. They have to get around that blue buoy one more time. And they seem to be doing it quite well. Dave Dorson doing a heck of a job turning that boat. The NFC with a nice lead if they can straighten the boat out. They got about 100 yards to the finish line.
Am I mistaken, or do these guys look like they're rowing a lot slower than when they started?
Looks like they're rowing in sand at this point. I think the AFC knows it's gone as the NFC is going down the final straight. Not only looking to win the outrigger canoe race, but to win the championship outright.
There's only one thing worse than rowing that boat when your arms are that tired, and that's looking out to the guys that are out ahead of you. Because it hurts so bad, not only just to lose these races, but then to hurt so bad when it's over with. It is tough.
These wives for the NFC players right now are trying to figure out where they're going to put these cars in their garages when they get them home.
And the NFC backing off right now, but they rode hard enough to be able to pull out the victory. They're coming up to the finish line. The NFC can wrap up the Super Teams competition, and they do. Just decided by all the judges to keep it close so it comes down to the tug and war. We're going to do it all over again. Oh, no, you don't want to do that again? Wasn't that fun?
I tell you, that's strength, that's power, and that's fun. And I tell you, everybody synchronized, worked together, and it worked that well.
Let me tell you, it looked like a lot of teamwork. You did really well.
Man.
Yeah, Dave, come here. I know. I saw you in the back there. First, the boat got a little bit crooked at first, but then you straightened it out, and it was a real good race after.
Big old Mack truck with all this horsepower in front, you know, it's kind of difficult for the guy in the back to maintain all that power, but we got the job done.
All right, congratulations not only winning this event, but winning Super Teams. You did it, guys. Congratulations.
Thank you. Now you get different teams together and working and synchronized, but we've done it. We've proved that everybody can work together. Teamwork. NFC.
It was all that horsepower in the middle that did it for you guys.
And Randy White yelling.
So with a decisive victory in the war canoe race, the NFC unit reigns as 1986 Super Teams champion. The key to the victory was the turns, but there is a formal protest.
We have an official complaint here. Would you voice your objections here?
Well, first off here, if you're going to make it an even race, you got to understand a big part in any kind of canoe race in water sports is the current. And if you see the way the current runs left to right, they not only were paddling with the current all the way out, but their first turn was with the current. We were paddling against the current all the way out, and our first turn was against the current. If it was a fair race, you would have had a figure eight, so each team has gone the same path. That made a big difference because there's no way you can have that big of a difference in turn when they're using the same techniques. Their turns were a lot tighter and they were a lot smoother. And it's not because of the strength. We know the AFC's stronger. It's because the current coming across there.
Sounds official to me, Bob.
We had rules that were written into the competition, and the rules provided only for choice of lane. And the choice of lane went to the team that lost the previous event. So they selected that lane, and whatever else affected the race is not within the framework of what we were working with.
Well, there's got to be an amendment, an addendum.
I agree with Brian more. I think maybe 6 figure eights, a loopy-loop, and a chocolate sundae next time we run it.
No, this is a mistake here. There needs to be addendum. There needs to be...
As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, this will go on forever. It'll go on forever. The commissioner has spoken.
So despite Brian Holloway's protestations, there are other people on the island who must contend with the waves. So it's a matter of pride that has the players moving back to Turtle Bay in the tug of war. Already the big guys in each team are stepping up to the scale, ready to use every pound for the final event of the Super Teams competition. The tug of war is next. With the tug of war coming up next, I'm sure many of the athletes are having mixed feelings about the event. Some would rather play a relaxed round of golf on the grounds of the Turtle Bay Hilton and Country Club. But Dave Dewerson, among others, must paddle ashore for the weigh-in to determine each team's strength and the number of players in the event. James Lofton of Green Bay is first.
199.
Okay. I just want to be lighter than largest.
Thanks. We got you at 199.
He's followed by John Hanna. Maximum weight per team is 1,500 pounds for Hog Hanna. It's a moment of truth.
Yeah. Pretty good.
John, that's exactly what it is. What do we reach?
288.
You had a special relationship with Bear Bryant. When you think back at college, what do you think about when you think about Bear Bryant?
Honest and fair, but boy, a guy that really made you earn your keep. You know, there's a lot of interesting stories you can tell about him. We were talking about one on the way back on the bus today, and he, Saturday before he played Southern Cal my sophomore year, he sent about 6 to 8 guys to the hospital with heat stroke. Next day he comes in the meeting, he says, boys, you learned an important lesson yesterday. So what's it, you know, he said, you learned that you think you're going to die, but you're not. You'll pass out before you die. So, you know, it's a great lesson to learn. I'm glad he taught it to me while I was there, but he's a great man.
John Hanna, a great player. The AFC team right now is debating the best strategy for victory.
You're going to get 1,500 pounds. So you want as many, you got to have as many set of legs as you can.
So what you're saying is all the small guys and John.
Randy White has been in this event before, so everyone is all ears to what Randy has to say.
See if we can beat him on the first. See if we can beat him right off.
Yeah.
If we can't, then we'll hold in. We just sit there and hold them. And like, hey, when we get ready to make a pull, we'll just pass it up.
Let's get
you know,
a 15-second pull right at the beginning.
Yeah, let's go for it right off and see if we can win it right off the bat.
So the teams are ready, and the tug of war, the final event, is coming up next. We're back at the Turtle Bay Hilton Hotel and Country Club on the North Shore of Oahu and set for the tug of war. Remarkably, each team weighed in at 1,488 pounds. 7 men will pull for the AFC, 7 men for the NFC. Bruce is with the NFC team as we're ready to start.
Well, the NFC has already won this competition, but let me tell you, there's a lot of pride at stake. And, Dave, you're standing right out there in front looking at that water. You're the one that could be pulled in.
They call me Rodney. I get no respect in this team.
All right, next back. Roger, you've been sort of the workhorse on this team all through this entire competition.
I'm just going to try to help and do the best job I can so we can win this one. So we can just let them have 2 victories, you know.
All right, that sounds good. Carlton, all I can say is lucky there's no wall here.
That's the truth. I'll give my best on this pull.
I know you're going to have a hard time living that wall down.
It's the same type of rope that I had to pull over the wall, but I got good help on this one.
All right, good luck to you. All right, James, now you've been coaching this team and the captain of this team all the way through. You've already won it, but there's a lot of pride at stake.
You know, I'm still wondering, what am I doing here? What am I doing in this event?
All right, you're going to find out in a minute. All right, you're standing here right here in the middle. Now, you know, you're just going to pull? Is that the strategy?
That's the strategy. We're going to try to get them off first in the beginning, and from then on it's going to be technique. We got Randy as an anchor in the back.
All right, well, you're going to need an anchor. Right. All right, Everson, you got it. Now, here's our sprinter. You know, you ran that great 220, and then you've been sort of sitting back, taking it easy. Now you got to go to work.
Work again, Bruce. But it's going to be fun because I'm going to pull this rope. I'm the key right now.
You are the key. Okay, Ron Brown. All right. Now, Randy, we always put the big guy in the back. And here you are. A lot of guys in front of you, a lot of muscle, but it's not going to be easy.
Well, it's going to take all of us making a good pull, and they got some big boys and some strong guys over there, so it's going to be interesting. I hope they can win the water, and we don't.
All right, well, let's meet the AFC team and Ahmad Rashad. Ahmad?
Wait a minute, man. This is for the pride, huh? Pride here. On the line? That's right.
Yeah, the pride's on the line right now.
Are you serious?
Definitely serious.
Talking about somebody serious. Irving Fry's been serious all day. The man that jumped out of the water when he lost the outrigger canoe. You can pay him back right here, Irving. You ready?
We lost already, but you're right. This is for pride. So they got the car, but we're going to have the pride.
That's right. Okay. All right. Fred, what do you got to say? This is the last one here. This is a chance for the pride.
Got my game face on, man. I'm ready.
That's right. He's ready. Game face on. He's ready. Mark, this is it.
This is war.
This is the one.
This is it.
They already won the car.
So we want the $5 grand.
There it is. There it is. It's all black and white right there. The man. Who demolished the obstacle course. What's happening here?
Well, we're going to try a rope-a-dope tactic.
All right. Now, anchoring. Big John, huh? This is one you guys should have the advantage in this race.
Well, I don't know about that. I got some weight, but we're going to have to see what we can do here.
And, Brian, you're tired of losing, aren't you?
We're going to win. Good.
Okay, all right. They're a little hostile here. I think they're ready. All right, let's get it going.
There's a 10-minute time limit, and right now the official starter has him pulled as the NFC digs deep into the sands of Oahu trying to get leverage, but it appears Ahmad early the AFC is getting the upper hand.
Well, the AFC has John Hog Hanna roped and tied, and I think that this kind of strategy has given them a little bit of an advantage because they're ahead at this early stages of the match.
That ribbon that hangs from the tug rope is the key. Once one side gets it across the water moat, it's over, and right now the AFC is inches away from winning.
Don, facial expression is very important in this event right here. You see these guys' face? They got to get a little bit of them. See, Fred Marion talked about having his game face on. All these guys have the game face on, and it's not real attractive, but it seems to be working for the AFC team.
Big Brian Holloway exhorting his mates on. Once that ribbon is a couple of more inches, it'll be over as the anchorman for the NFC, Randy White, giving his all. Look in the back, the anchorman for the American Conference, John Hanna, standing and tugging for that final inch, and they get it. And the AFC wins the tug-of-war, the final event of the Super Team.
These guys are really spent. Now, you take a look here at Hog Hanna. He can barely stand up. Dave Dorson doesn't know where he is at the end of this competition. This takes a lot out of you. And here's Jackie Fryer. She's a little worried about Irving. I think she's wondering if that look is going to come off of his face.
It will. Irving's a gamer, and the AFC is a winner in the final event. Here's Ahmad with the winning team.
Hey, you know what I'm telling you? Was that a little tougher than you thought?
Oh, man, my stomach's cramping there.
When a prize on the line, huh?
Well, see, it's an extended squat almost, boy. I think I have to get your legs going.
All right, the AFC came back to run, huh? A little tougher than you thought?
A little tougher, God. I almost lost it there on the head. I'm trying to get it behind Lester, man.
Yeah, but see, I'm so proud of you guys because when the prize on the line, you guys came right back.
Shows you the best.
That's right. Coach, your boys played well, didn't they? They came through, didn't they?
Really, I'm proud of them. We're looking forward to next year. It's a rebuilding program we're going through this year, but they fought hard, gave it all I can.
All right.
Well, the AFC didn't win the title, but they did win the final event, the tug award, and make it very close. And we'll be back to beautiful Hawaii after this. The AFC has won the tug-of-war to save pride. Here's Bruce with the overall winner, the team from the NFC.
Randy, you were in the back there trying to sort of anchor this team, but, well, they got to jump on you.
They got to jump on us. It didn't even last long enough for me to get tired, so I can go relax the rest of the day.
Well, good. You can go drive the money in the car. Well, congratulations to you guys for pulling this competition off. Really, it was fun watching.
All right, thank you.
The Super Teams competition is more than an athletic event. It's a celebration of sorts where some of the game's finest players get to compete and to know each other. Friendship is the big winner. The NFC was the team winner, but really there are no losers. In a sense, every player selected for the Dodge Super Teams is a winner in a lot of ways. Now let's review the competition held in the splendor of our 50th state. In the running relay, James Lofton's graceful stride was enough to defeat the AFC and gain a 1-0 lead. Lofton and Olympic gold medal winner Ron Brown had too much for the American Conference. But the AFC team came back to even the score with a stirring victory in the tandem bike race. They came from behind to take this event, and it was even at one event apiece. In the volleyball, the AFC struggled to even the score, but the NFC outplayed them at the end to win 16-14 and take a 2-1 lead. From start to finish in the swimming relay, the NFC led throughout and took a comfortable 3-1 lead, now with only 3 events remaining. But the American Conference was not finished yet. The obstacle course win enabled them to keep alive a chance of stopping the Nationals. The NFC finally clinched the win in the war canoe race. A strong turn at the first buoy gave them the advantage for good and an ultimate 4-2 lead for the team championship. Although the AFC had lost the competition, a victory in the tug-of-war was a satisfying conclusion for them. And when all the events were totaled up, the National Conference won by one. A 4-3 victory for the NFC. The players all walked away from the competition feeling like winners. We'll be back to beautiful Oahu in a moment for some final thoughts. Back in the Aloha State, the competition is over. The NFC winning 4 events to 3. And with the victory, the NFC team won a total of $66,000. Each team member to receive $6,600. The AFC team won a total of $43,000, and each team member gathers in $4,300. In addition, each member of the NFC team will receive a 1986 Dodge convertible to use for 1 year. It was a handsome payoff for both teams. A lot of horsepower, a lot of John Hanna power for the AFC as they win the final event. But the National Conference concludes a great season. They had a Pro Bowl winner, a Super Bowl winner, and now a Super Teams winner, Ahmad Rashad.
Don, I tell you, I never cease to be amazed by these athletes. They come in the first competition, they act like it's not really serious. They're going to have a lot of fun just going out and competing, and all of a sudden they become extremely serious. And it's a great way to wind down after a long season in the National Football League. They can come over here, you meet a lot of players from different teams. You get in the competition like this, and you go home with a car, you go home with some more money, and it's a great way to just take advantage of the fruits of being a great start in the National Football League.
Well, they had a good time. Bruce Jenner, Ahmad, was talking about quality athletes at the outset, and they proved to be that.
Oh, they certainly did. Really great athletes that came here to compete with us. But sometimes they got humbled a little bit. I know Carlton Williamson trying to get over that wall was, he's going to take a long time to live that one down. Let me tell you, I'm sure all his teammates watched, but they really gave it their best effort. And right down to the AFC, who really didn't have to win the tug-of-war. They came back, they've got a lot of heart, and they were able to win the tug-of-war. So it was a fun competition for everybody.
So that's it for the Dodge Super Teams. For Bruce Jenner and Ahmad Rashad, this is Don Cricky. Glad you could be with us at the Turtle Bay Hilton on the North Shore of Oahu on NBC Sports World.
We're out. Peace, love, Raider Nation.